The Covenanter, that's always a favorite, just because of its weird engine design and its radiator design. What's my favorite World War II plane or tank? A tank is probably something like the Crusader. It's probably something like the Crusader. I don't really think about like favorite stuff like that when it comes to World War II. I think the Hurricane though is probably the Mark II C or D. Those ones are pretty interesting. What do I think about the Fairy Gannet? It's a disgusting machine. It looks it looks awful. Once again, no offensive armament, designed for very specific naval duties. Wouldn't really fit in the game at all, so yeah. But yeah, it's part of a long line of naval British vehicles which really would fit nowhere near the game, but still an interesting one. How do I make a lot of my lines? Turning off auto repair. Turn off your vehicle auto repair and you'll make lines a lot. Exclamation mark repair for the video that explains it. That's how you become a War Thunder millionaire. Hey Savoyak, how you doing, man? Bit of an odd question. What is your opinion on the Covenanter cruiser tank? Oh, well, there we go. Yeah, I would love to see the Covenanter in game. I think it's a very underappreciated vehicle when it comes to World War II. It was one of those which came out at the wrong time, which kind of sucks for it. So the Covenanter, if you don't know it, it's very much known as it. I mean, if you're looking at a layman point of view, it's a vehicle which is very similar to like the Crusader tank, apart from it has a massive fuck off radiator sat on the front of it. Because they couldn't really fit it in the back, so they had to put it in the front. So the engine's in the back of the machine, but let's call it the cooling system's on the front of the machine. So yeah, it's another wonderful British design. But it has access to the 2-pounder, and when it was made and when it was built, what was happening was the invasion of France. And obviously the invasion of Belgium and the battle for France. And what that meant was, with those vehicles, is the Covenanter would have easily been able, with its 2-pounder gun, to outrange and destroy a lot of the German tanks. But when it was about to enter service and go into service, what happened was the invasion of France was over. Germany had won. And the British Expeditionary Force had obviously moved back to the UK from Dunkirk. So it was kind of stuck in a dodgy position because there was like a time between like the ending of the battle for France and also, you know, the stuff that happened in North Africa. And because of this lull of like 4 to 5 to 6 months, the Germans improved their vehicles quite a lot. They changed from stuff like the short 50mm on the Panzer IIIs to the long 50mm. They also started incorporating more short 75s, and then also eventually the long 75s that you know from the Panzer IV. Hey Candy, how you doing, man? And what this meant, especially with the long 50, the Panzer III with the extra armor on it and the long 50, that was basically a direct counter to the Covenanter. So they made over 1,000 of these tanks, 1,000 of these Covenanter machines, and they never actually entered service. So they just sat there around, and they did technically enter service, but they never entered like active combat areas, because by the time that they were ready, there was no fighting to be had, and by the time the fighting started, they were out of date, which shows how quickly, the Second World War technology race actually went. So before, if it had fought in the Battle of France, it would have outranged the short 50s and, been able to shoot first and, penetrate the German tanks. Whereas when the long 50 was introduced, it would have got outranged, so it'd have to get closer, and therefore it would have got annihilated. So yeah, I think it was like 1,300 of them were made overall. And the most active combat use a Covenanter ever got is they were used to protect trains in the UK. Basically to, shepherd them around and make sure that, nothing happened to them when it came to sabotage. And one of those trains got bombed. And the Covenanter was near. So yeah, that's the most active fucking duty those things got. Which is, kind of sad for them.
Would have been nice to have, though, if the RAF failed in the Battle of Britain, right? Like,
definitely,
if the Germans had invaded Britain, it would have been one of the keys to the defense.
Yeah, exactly, and that's why, like if World War II had gone differently, then they would have definitely been used. But because a lot of them were, they were just sat in the UK waiting. But hey ho. Luckily we won the Battle of Britain and didn't have to deal with German invasion, so thank God. Yeah, but the story of the Commandant I really enjoy. It's one of those machines that I have a lot of time for. Not really an unsung hero because it didn't do anything, but yeah, just one of those.
Yeah, if you ever watched like combat footage from World War II and you watch stuff from like the fall of France or the invasion of Poland, and then you compare that to the Battle of Berlin in 1945, in the span of 6 years, it's like an order of magnitude difference, right? Like all the guns got much bigger, all the shells got much nastier.
Yeah, I mean, all you have to do is, well, just from like the German side, right? Like you compare, like, let's say even just the Panther and the Tiger II to, the Panzer II and the early Panzer IIIs. Like, it's crazy. Like, it's just such a ridiculous, set of circumstances. From the British side, it's more based around guns, right? So we went from 2-pounder to 6 to 17.
17.
Being the main gun.
And then the 83 millimeter, which they didn't call it.
Yeah. What do you think on game? Is it worth playing in 2020? Or War Thunder? If I didn't think it was worth playing, I wouldn't play it every day. Yes, I do think it is. It's a lot of fun. Some bridge layers were sent to Europe, so that's a bit more action there. Oh, perfect. How long will the stream be going on? We're going to be doing 12 hours today, and then we're going to hand you over to Freeman. And Freeman will stream through the night for you guys. As I said, we've set it up so therefore, like, it'll be if I'm not streaming, Freeman's streaming. The Long 88 was a very good gun. It had its faults, but yeah, it was alright. Very cumbersome to reload. How'd you get the drops? Type !drop in the chat. It'll give you all the information you need. Oh, Canberra, why? Why did you have to sacrifice yourself? See, these are the situations I was talking about before, where in this 7.7, in this F-84, I'm facing an 8.7 and a G91R3. And that machine does everything better than I do. So the setup is pretty hard to do. Let's see. Like, he should actually outspeed me here.
If we don't do something fast, the enemy will win.
Just trying to slow him down.
Tock, I sent you a list of 4 games that you can give away.
What is safe area in the UI settings? I think I figured it out, but I can't remember what the heck it is.
It's 2 seconds. I'm killing a G91.
Oh, sorry.
Well,
Kill the G91. This question can get answered like anytime.
The safe settings is every like system, whether it's a mouse or a joystick or something like that, it has what's known as a safe area, so therefore you can go over that system and it won't like hit another system. I don't know how else to put it. Oh, fuck me. Fucking G91s, man. So I think that's what it's referring to. It might be referring to something else. If you ever struggle with certain settings, it might be worth looking, like typing in War Thunder settings safe area. Fuck you! Fuck yourself! Get fucked! Right. It might be worth like typing in online, like War Thunder like settings safe and or safe area, and normally it'll have like it'll have a little bit on it. Oh, fuck me. God damn it. Ugh. What do you think about the Ferry Barracuda? Could it be put in the game? I don't see why not. Barracuda's kind of an interesting one.
Oh, I think it moves stuff from the edges of the screen in when you change the percentage.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so if you have like a giant monitor, I guess, or you just want everything clustered in the middle, you can change it.
Yeah, I feel like I'd never want that. So I
it's one
could
of those
see.
things, like I do maximum map size and maximum damage. It's the damage indicator, but it also gives you, like, you know, if you have your IRCM on or if you're using the guided driving mode. Oh, free tip for everyone. If you have trouble driving wheeled vehicles, there is this thing in ground vehicles where it's called cruise mode or something like that. I mean, hang on, I will get back to everyone. But essentially, you hold down a button and then you steer with your mouse. It's for when you're like behind your gun and you want to steer your tank to where your gun is pointing. But if you do it in wheeled vehicles, it has the advantage of, the problem with wheeled vehicles is you go from 0 to maximum whenever you hit the button, right? So there's no nuance to the steering. So if you do the cruise mode and hold down and assign a key and hold that down, as you move the mouse slowly back and forth, it will only move the wheels a little bit to meet where you're moving the mouse back and forth. So it's a great way to drive wheeled vehicles when you're going really fast. I'm going through all my options just to make sure they're still what I want them to be.
Yeah.
Because I'm a nerd like that.
The best way to fly this thing is climb at a 10 degree, climb away from where the enemy goes, wait for your allies to engage, and then you clean up. Unfortunately, because this thing struggles in the turn, and also struggles at low speeds, you have to attack from high speed, and you have to attack generally when the enemy is already engaged. because otherwise you're gonna sit yourself in a place where they're going to outmaneuver you and then get around you, kind of like what that G91 was doing. And we had to keep resetting over and over and over again. And as this thing loses energy, it isn't like one of those jets that has crazy acceleration, so it can't get it back very quickly. So you have to be a bit more careful with it. So in this situation here, against a Yak-30 and a Seahawk, both of those vehicles, they have much better low-end acceleration and also maneuverability. So what I'm telling you is this is going to be a fucking pain. So be careful. F-34 is just a P-47 with a jet engine. Yeah, that's not actually a bad comparison, actually. Yeah, you can still get drops today and tomorrow. What do you think about the British Saladin? It would be nice to see. Problem is with the Saladin is, if you added the standard version, I hope you enjoy Hesh, because that's all it's got. Oh, fucking Hesh, man.
I know it's a post-war vehicle, but it honestly looks old enough that I don't think it would be too immersion breaking to give it like a 5.0 BR or something. You know, like.
I mean, it's 50s, right? So it's pretty close. I think it's 50s.
But yeah, I was talking to somebody yesterday, like, man, what do they add after? I mean, we're getting to the end of the tank line. I'm like, bro, there are dozens of light vehicles to be added. Yeah. Dozens of light vehicles. Tons of armored fighting vehicles, tons of infantry fighting vehicles, tons of wheeled vehicles. I mean, Italy has tons of wheeled vehicles compared to everybody else, and they're just scratching the surface for Italy. And other nations built a lot of them too, right? Like, there's tons of really cool stuff to add to this game. And the Italian tree has proved that those light armored wheeled vehicles can be a lot of fun to play.
Yeah, I agree. Oh, especially with the whole brake change.
Mm-hmm.
It's wheeled artillery vehicles.
They have a rocket launcher, this Firos system for Italy. It hasn't been passed to devs yet, but yeah, it's basically the Fiat 6600 series with a fucking multi-cell rocket launcher on top of it. Just imagine sitting around and that thing like, hey, eat 20 rockets.
So, Tock, I sent you a DM.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So the top 4 games are what we can give away today. As you can see, I picked them very well.
Oh, nice.
And the one with the picture, that will be for the supporter giveaway, which also is a very good game.
That's true, yeah.
They will definitely enjoy that.
Sounds good. Alright, I'll do one every hour then, I think. Maybe every 2.
Every 2.
Yeah. What do you think of the game? Is it worth playing in 2020? Yes. Otherwise, I wouldn't play it every day. Sounds cool stuff, but how many people would play these things? Yeah, I mean, I was talking about it before, dog. Like, it's really funny when the obviously it's never good when the servers shit out, for, because people want to play the game. But one of the funny things is, if you, like, when the servers do shit out, you actually check the, the queues and see how many people are queuing up, and it's very, very heavily dominated by a few nations, apart from at very certain BRs, which is kind of sad. I mean, for me, like, new vehicles would be cool. New maps would be cool. We'll get them at some point.
You want to go over the video we watched the other day and critique it for all the people watching your stream?
Which video?
It was the
economy one?
Yeah. So another thing that Tech does for, I mean, all of his diehard fans that watch all of his streams know this. Occasionally, he will go over other content creators' complaint videos and address the veracity or the logical fallacies or both of whatever their complaint videos are. And I think it's one of the things I personally love about watching Tech, and one of the reasons why I support him so heavily is because he is the scientist of the content creator community and the historian. But,
he's debunking them.
Yeah, exactly. He debunked myths. and he approaches everything. You can tell he's a scientific researcher because of how he approaches the information of this game and his analysis of the game, and I personally really appreciate that, right? Like I respond to that very well, and it's, I don't know, for all of you who are watching because you're trying to get your drops, I think it would be really cool for you guys to see him go through one of these videos. And Cone of Arc actually has a video out whose fundamental point is spot on. And he goes about it in some shady ways, but his fundamental point is spot on. And as a player of minor tech trees, I was a big fan of him making that video to at least get the awareness up.
Yeah, we could definitely go through it, because so it's like this, right? So when you have like the core of the argument is sound, but then you start like trying to support it with like opinions and shit. It's then it's really sad for like the core of the argument, because it makes it lose its veracity. But overall, it was we should go through that video actually. It's a good one. It's much better than that bloody economy one that we watched the other day. That one was really fucking shit. Rip the VFM5, ever seen action. Hey, I saw one of them. I saw one in one game. Which nations dominate? Well, in people playing them? America, Germany, and the USSR.
I think there's a lot of reasons for that. First off, America is a gigantic country with 320 million people in it, and they all tend to gravitate towards the USA tree. But you are right. A lot of it has to do with that they're the most in-depth trees. Like, you're going to get the most tank destroyers, the most battle tanks, the most light tanks, the most options, the most fully rounded out BRs. They're the most complete trees. And it's just a shame, because a lot of these minor trees could be a lot more complete, but Gaijin puts the money where the audience is. Like, for example, France has loads of vehicles that were in service and or prototype that could turn their tree. But Italy too, like, I know Italy inside out and upside down, that tree could be much, much more robust and extremely competitive at every BR except 4.7 to 5.7 with just Italian vehicles getting at it. Like, they don't even have to do more copy paste outside of those BRs, right? Like, there's so many different, like the C-13s that got passed this month, which was great to see.
Yeah, that is true. Oh fuck! Can't win this
but
one.
Japan's screwed. Japan's just screwed.
Well, yeah, I mean, the problem with Japan is not that there isn't, they're missing vehicles that could be added. It's more like they just didn't make them, like in history. There are definitely areas where they could fill out, though. Thank you for the subscription, Blacks. That's very kind of you, brother. Thank you for supporting the channel. It's very much appreciated.
I would love to see the STA and STB autoloader prototypes, unless they're really short. Right? Like, the autoloader versions would be meaningfully different than the ones, and it would be somewhat copy-paste, so relatively easy to do. Like, those would be great to see for the Japanese tree.
Yeah, that would be cool. Oh my god. Are we ahead? Oh, one more. No, fuck, he's coming back. Get this artillery in, let's go. Run! Fast! Beat! Am I fast? No, I'm not fast enough, fuck. 30 seconds! Survive! Survive! Come on. Come on. Survive. Gotta survive for 30 seconds. And we win this. Okay, we're good. Still good. Yeah! Snuck out a win there. Snuck it out. We had no right to win that one. Oh god.
Tortoise in the hare in real life.
That is why tickets are important, by the way, guys, and also keeping a track on the timer. Oh, goddamn.
That's got to feel good, man.
Yeah.
You know, solo winning a game like that.
Yeah. Whew. Goddamn, good stuff.
Or as I like to put it, dragging your team kicking and screaming to victory.
Yeah, that's fair. 20k RP as well. Not too bad. I think that gets this thing spaded. Let's see.